¿Qué te dijo tu novia camarona?
Me dio unos consejos. La cosa con tu papá, ¿cómo?
Meow! Tell us how you really feel, Anali. If that catty, bitchy dig about Clayton's best friend didn't give away her disgust, well, the look on her face certainly has. Her eyes look like they're about to pop out of her head. But clearly, Clayton is ready to persist, no matter the consequences.
¿Quieres arruinar mi cena, en serio?
Estamos al punto de casarnos y tu papá ya no sabe.
Judging by the daggers that Anali's shooting Clayton from across the table, I'd say that dinner is already ruined. But before we dive into the drama of this two-man dinner party, let's rewind to the start. So the last time we saw these two, Clayton was embarrassing Anali in front of his friends, the waiter, and the entire world. He was trying to shame her about their sex life, or lack thereof. And when we join them in this episode the next morning, Anali is confronting Clayton on his less than gentlemanly behaviour.
Lo primero que hablaste con tus amigos, tu primera conversación fue de sexo. Sé que tú eres abierto y todo, pero sabes que yo soy un poco más conservadora.
Now, the way that Anali's approaching the subject, the way that she's defending Clayton's behaviour by calling him more open, well, it's probably more generous than he deserves, especially after having mortified her like that in front of people she's never met before. But somehow, even after all of that, Clayton is still standing his ground. He's still got excuses for why he told the waitress he's practically a born-again virgin thanks to his frigid fiancé.
Al azar pensé en sexo. Tengo eso en mi mente. Es mi mejor amigo. Hablamos.
Randomly? Oh, come on. It's all that this guy's been thinking about since, like, episode 1. It's literally the only thing on his mind since Anali's landed in the US. But, luckily, he doesn't carry on defending his actions for too long. Instead, he offers Anali a very half-hearted apology. A kind of breakfasty olive branch, if you will.
I'm sorry, honey. ¿Quieres tocino?
Yeah, I'm not sure that bacon's just gonna magically make her forget about last night, but at least it's something. Now, the interesting gestures don't end with bacon. Clayton goes on to tell Anali that he's got a very special day planned, but it's not for the two of them. It's for him and his buddy Cameron.
Hoy día, yo y Cameron vamos a preparar algo para sorpresa para nosotros.
Para la boda.
Para la boda.
It's quite a loose excuse, isn't it? He's ditching his fiancée on their last day of vacation in California to go and hang out with his best friend, to apparently plan for the wedding. Anali seems quite pissed off. She no doubt assumes that they're likely to spend their time just gaming. But it's painful to watch as Clayton makes a bid for her affection. He goes in for a kiss, only for Anali to seem utterly repulsed.
Clayton.
Thank you.
You'd never guess that these two are about to get married in little over a month. The way that Anali grunts at the prospect of kissing her fiancé, it's like she sees it as a chore. It's like she's been asked to clean out the guinea pigs or something. Now, regardless of the levels of disdain that she seems to be showing towards him, Clayton is still clearly trying very hard to impress her. He reveals to the camera crew the special surprise he has in store for their wedding day.
I found a Peruvian dance instructor that's going to teach me to dance to impress Anali at our wedding.
Now, I've got to admit, as soon as Clayton mentioned Peruvian dancing, I pictured things going very, very downhill. I mean, by his own admission, he's a nerd that doesn't do too much outside his own home. I really didn't expect him to pull out moves like this.
Clayton is doing better than I expected, in all honesty.
And music ends. Dun, dun.
Wow, Clayton, just look at those hips! Anali might be a lucky lady if she were to ever give him the green light. Now, on a serious note, Cameron is right. Clayton's heart is in this, and the effort is clearly there. But the thing is, it's starting to become clear that the effort seems a little one-sided. Even Cameron, who barely knows Anali, has noticed that something doesn't quite add up in their relationship. There are some definite red flags.
You guys aren't having sex. Not only that, but this whole not telling her dad thing is also causing her to essentially hide you from her life.
Now, hearing his best friend voice his concerns about his relationship helps validate Clayton that his concerns about both his sex life and Anali's secrecy are valid. Clearly, the fact that Anali's hiding their relationship from her dad is a big sticking point for Clayton. It bugs him, it worries him. He's not sure whether, if he were to push Anali too hard, she might prefer to break up with him rather than just to be honest with her dad. But, interestingly, it seems to be a risk he's willing to take.
But then I have to think, if that would be a possibility, is that a relationship that I want to be in anyway?
That's a very interesting, very heavy realisation for Clayton, isn't it? He's finally beginning to put his own feelings first, and that's a good thing. It is a massive red flag that Annalise still lying to her dad about why she's in the States. She's still lying to her dad about the fact she's in a relationship. She's engaged. I mean, Annalie and her dad are super close. They talk multiple times a day. Surely learning about his daughter, watching his daughter on a show get married behind his back would be heartbreaking for him. So why is she doing this? Well, tonight, once again, Clayton vows to address this issue.
I'm planning on talking to Anali about her dad not knowing about our relationship. We'll be having a nice meal, having a good day.
Sure, Clayton, you might be having a good day, but you should know better than anyone that even on a good day, Anali can still be quite grumpy. Need I remind you the last time you tried to discuss this topic with her? Yeah, she shut it down pretty darn quickly. She got very pissed off about it. So how's it gonna go this time? Well, the conversation starts off immediately on the wrong foot. Why? Well, the second he tries to bring up the conversation, Anali starts to get very hostile.
¿Qué te dijo tu novia camarona?
Me dio unos consejos. La cosa con tu papá. Como...
What a thing to say. I mean, she's simultaneously trying to insult both Cameron and Clayton. Now, the way she delivers that insult so casually makes me think that maybe she's jealous of Clayton and Cameron's relationship. Maybe she's regretting pushing Clayton to meet his best friend in person. But the second Clayton mentioned the word dad, Annalie's mood went from medium moody to absolute fury. Everything about her, the way she's looking at him, her body language, it all screams she hates Cameron. But the thing is, Cameron's concerns are valid, and if Anali intends to spend the rest of her life with him, she needs to be able to communicate. She can't just give him dirty looks until the problems go away.
¿Por qué me miras?
Porque creo que sí, creo que tú ya entendiste y no necesito repetirlo otra vez.
If looks could kill, Clayton would have dropped dead by now. The absolute venom in Annalie's glare. She couldn't care less about Clayton's feelings. She's clearly only thinking about herself. But again, if she truly loves him, then what's the big problem here? Why is it such a big ask just to be honest with her loved ones?
El problema es que 2 años y media. Nada que dices tiene sentido. Voy a hablar con mi papá cuando quiera. Okay, so cuando quiera.
You really can't blame Clayton for this, can you? This is very much messing with his head. He's questioning, does she not think I'm good enough? Will she ever tell her dad, even after we get married? And more to the point, if she's willing to lie about this to a man that she loves, what else is she willing to hide? But instead of being direct with Clayton, Anali defaults back to deflecting, avoiding, and trying to manipulate the conversation.
¿Quieres arruinar mi cena en serio?
Estamos al punto de casarnos y tu papá ya no sabe.
Man, she's just ice cold here. But what she needs to understand is the more she gets her back up about this, the more that she pushes Clayton away, the more suspicious this looks. Like, why can't she just explain the reasons for her secrecy with a bit of sincerity, with a bit of understanding for how Clayton feels about it? If she's determined to keep her marriage to him a secret, then the least she should do is offer a solid explanation. She should offer some empathy, but instead, she just keeps trying to avoid the topic. She tries to make Clayton feel guilty for bringing it up.
Quizás muere antes de que sepa.
¿Le estás deseando la muerte?
Come on, Anali, that's a pretty big leap there. She's trying very, very hard to flip the script, to make herself seem like the victim. It's pretty toxic, and honestly, if you put the puzzle pieces together, between the lack of intimacy, the secrecy, and all of her cold stares, it's all pointing to the fact that maybe she's just unsure about Clayton. Maybe that's why she's not willing to tell her dad. I mean, that would explain why she can't just be honest with Clayton, wouldn't it? Now, when alone, when she gives her excuses to the crew, even then, her reasoning doesn't quite add up.
Mi papá es una muy buena persona, es alegre, divertido, pero también es alguien muy protector o sobreprotector.
Sorry, Anali, but I'm not buying that. Overprotective or not, I'm sure that your dad would want to know that you're getting married. In fact, if anything, Anali, it seems like you're the one trying to protect yourself. It's Anali who's completely unwilling to share her real feelings with Clayton, instead preferring to cry alone in the bedroom. So that begs the question, why can't she just discuss this with her husband-to-be?
I have no idea why Anali is crying about this. Well, it makes me wonder if there's something else going on, like is she in danger?
It's a cute theory. It's a nice way to try and justify and excuse Anali's actions. But realistically, the only thing that's really in danger here is this relationship. Everyone can see it. Anali seems to be putting up with Clayton rather than genuinely being in love with him. So why then is she still sticking around?